Today I'm going to demonstrate how to develop film. The first step is to set up your beakers in sequential order, and you want to make sure that they're labeled appropriately with tape and set up in order from first to last. Now we're ready to measure and dilute the chemicals. So you're going to start with developer and use 12 ounces of cool water. Then you're going to take it to the larger tank and fill the rest of the way with 12 ounces of developer, equaling 24 ounces. The stop bath container is available above the middle sink in the cabinet, and you're going to fill it up to 24 ounces. With a fixer, you can use the larger tank, or there is a smaller container of used fixer above the middle sink. Either one. Fill it up to 24 ounces. Next, you want water. Make sure that it's cool and not too hot because you want it to be around room temperature, and you're going to fill it up to 24 ounces. For hypo, you're going to use the largest tank, and you're going to fill it up 24 ounces. Photoflow also needs to be diluted with water, so you're going to start out with 8 ounces. Make sure that's cool water. Then you're going to take the Photoflow concentrate, add a little bit to the cap, and add 1 drop. After measuring out all the chemicals, you're going to start to check the temperatures of each one. I'm starting with developer, which needs to be exactly 68 degrees. And I'm going to use this frozen water bottle to carefully cool it down, checking back every 30 seconds to a minute and making sure the temperature hasn't gone too cold. When it does reach that temperature, you can go on to the next one. Take your developer and pour it into the tank at a slight angle. You're going to replace the red cap, and you're going to tap bottom of the tank on the table 3 times. And then you want to agitate for the first 20 seconds vigorously, making sure that chemical is wrapping around and in between all your film. Continue doing this over the sink to avoid any spills on the floor. Every 30 seconds, you're going to agitate again for 5, and do this again over the sink. Last 15 seconds, you're going to pour the developer into the sink or into the beaker. And to keep it consistent, I just pour all my chemicals back into the container until I'm ready to dispose of them. But developer's always going to go down in the sink. The next step is stop bath. You're going to set your timer for 30 seconds, and you're going to immediately pour in the stop bath. Don't want any hesitation in between. You don't want your film to be overdeveloped. Make sure you're doing it over the sink to avoid any spills. And you're going to agitate for the full 30 seconds. When that's complete, save the stop bath by pouring it back into the container and set aside until you have time to put it back. And you're going to move right along to the fixer and set your timer for 9 minutes. And you're going to pour the fixer in at a slight angle. Replace the red cap. And you're going to agitate for the first 5 seconds. And then you're going to set aside and do that every minute. After the 9 minutes is up, you're going to take the fixer and you're going to pour it back into the container so we can save it. And then we're going to move on to water and set your time for 30 seconds. Pour it in at a slight angle over the sink. Place that red lid, and you're going to agitate for the entire 30 seconds. This is going to help to rinse off all the film from the chemicals. You can go ahead and pour the water in the sink, or what I like to do is pour it back in the container and dispose of it later. Next step is hypo. Set your timer for 2 minutes. Pour in hypo at a slight angle, making sure you do this over the sink. And the hypo is just going to speed up the cleaning process, cleaning all the chemicals off. And this one is going to last 2 minutes of constant agitation. Feel free to switch hands if your wrist gets tired. When the 2 minutes is up, you can start the running water. You're going to save the hypo, pouring it back into the container. The next step is the water wash. You're going to set your timer for 10 minutes, and you're going to let your tank run underneath the cool water. I like to use the 10 minutes of the water wash to begin to dispose of any chemicals, which is the developer and the water. And I'm going to save the stop bath, fixer, and hypo. Each one has a container above the middle sink that says used. So the use stop bath container, and you can also use a funnel to help you avoid spilling any of the chemical. Once you've poured back all the chemicals in the correct container, you can rinse out all your beakers with just cool water, no soap. The last step is always done in the small dark room, and you want to set your timer for 30 seconds. You're going to pour the photo flow in at a slight angle. Place the red cap, and you're going to agitate for 30 seconds. This you could count in your head if you don't have your timer available, or keep track on your watch. You can pour the photo flow into the sink or into the container to dispose of later. And now it's time to open your tank. Everything is completely developed. So take one roll at a time. You're going to squeegee the negative off with dampened fingers. That's why I have the water running. I'm going to take my fingers and slide down the entire roll of film. And I'm going to take my film to the dryer. and I'm going to hang to dry for 20 minutes.